Hello friends, welcome to DentTuber. Friends, today we are going to discuss HPSC dental examination previous year question paper of the year 2012. We will discuss some of the questions from this paper, and in the subsequent videos we will discuss remaining questions, and then we will discuss the 2010 question paper. And apart from this, if any other question paper is available with any of you people, you may please share that in the comment section. And before we begin, if you have still not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe the channel, like my videos, and share the videos and channel as much as possible, so that maximum people can take benefit. So let us begin, friends. The congenital absence of many teeth is termed as hypodontia, anodontia, oligodontia, diphyodontia. So answer is going to be oligodontia. Hypodontia is absence of teeth from 1 to 5 teeth. Anodontia is the congenital absence of all teeth. And oligodontia is absence of more than 6 teeth. Diphyodontia is generally the animals having sets of teeth, that is primary and permanent, are known as diphyodonts. The genetic disorder defined as the absence of all teeth. It usually occurs as a part of a syndrome that includes other abnormalities. Hypodontia is defined as the developmental absence of one or more teeth, excluding the third molars. Hypodontia is the genetic in origin and usually involves the absence from 1 to 5 teeth. Oligodontia is a rare genetic disorder which represents the congenital absence of more than 6 teeth in primary, permanent, or both dentitions. The most commonly affected tooth are the permanent second molars and the upper lateral incisors. It is usually a part of the syndrome, and seldom occurs as an isolated entity. Genes responsible for non-syndromic oligodontia are found to be MSX1 and PAX9 genes. Diphyodont is any animal with two successive sets of teeth, initially the deciduous set and consecutively the permanent set. So the question says the congenital absence of many teeth. Had it been saying the congenital absence of all teeth, then the answer would have been anodontia. But here it says congenital absence of many teeth, not congenital absence. Absence of many teeth. So the answer is it says congenital absence. The answer is going to be oligodontia. So let us move on to next question. The abnormal loss of tooth structure due to non-masticatory, non-mechanical means: erosion, abrasion, adhesion, abfraction. Let us see the definitions of each of these terms, though these are very easy terms. Erosion is the wearing away of the tooth surface by an acid which dissolves the enamel and the dentin. There are a variety of ways that tooth structure is lost. Food-based dental erosion was first described in 1892 amongst Senegal lemon pickers. Food and beverages can dissolve tooth structure if they are acidic enough. So, gastric regurgitation is another cause of tooth erosion, and apart from this, exposure to environmental substances can also lead to erosion. And in their cases, some individuals saliva is so acidic that it can dissolve the exposed dentin surface. So this is known as idiopathic erosion. So basically, erosion is because of chemical means, we can say it is neither masticatory nor mechanical. So answer is erosion. And adhesion is the wearing away of the incisal or the occlusal surfaces of teeth as the result of functional or parafunctional tooth-to-tooth contact. That means it is mechanical. So this is not the answer. Regular adhesion is slow tooth wear associated with chewing, and that is a normal process. Sleep disorders like bruxism can cause more significant tooth wear. Porcelain crowns can also wear down natural teeth. Dental abrasion is the tooth wear originating from friction or mechanical forces from a foreign object, and it predominantly impacts premolars and canines. Okay, so there is a V-shaped wedge or indentation formed at the of the tooth at the gum margin, and it appears worn, shiny, and is often discolored at the cervical margin. So causes of abrasion are mostly faulty toothbrushing and biting your nails, chewing on pens, pipe smoking, and dental clasps can also cause abrasion. Then abrasing toothpaste or dentifrices are there, and using a very hard or stiff toothbrush. Then abfraction. Abfraction is tooth wear from the flexural forces. When the tooth flex under pressure, they touch each other, creating tension on one side. That is, it will cause V-shaped depression and compression, or C-shaped depression on the other side of the tooth. So, the researcher believes enamel, especially at the CEJ, undergoes this pattern of destruction by separating the enamel rods. So this refraction is also, you can say, it is mechanical because it involves tooth to tooth contact. Abrasion typically look like a wedge or V-shaped indentation of the tooth at the gum margin. Okay, this we have already discussed, but this is just a slight differentiation between abrasion and effraction. Now, effraction may appear as V-shaped depression on the one side of the teeth and C-shaped depression on the other side. Greater palatine foramina is located distal to the apex of maxillary first molar, second premolar, canine. Answer is second molar. The greater palatine foramen is the opening in the posterior hard palate of the greater palatine canal, which is formed between the articulation of maxillary bone and the greater palatine sulcus of the bone. The canal is also known as pterygopalatine canal. So this is a brief about greater palatine foramen. A small accessory canal branches off it and causes more posteriorly. The lesser palatine canal foramen is located just anterior to the lateral palatine foramina. It transmits the greater palatine nerve and vessels to the palate. Next question: how long should one wait for before obtaining biopsy of an oral ulcer? 4 days, 7 days, 14 days, 30 days. Answer is 14 days, friends. Almost all ulcers caused by trauma will heal within 14 days. Therefore, any ulcer that is present before 2 weeks or more should be biopsied. Biopsy is also indicated in some of the following instances: pigmented lesions, either black or brown, and tissues associated with paresthesia. This is often an ominous sign. If a lesion suddenly enlarges, it should be biopsied. The absence of which layer of dentine predisposes it to the internal resorption by cell present in the pulp. Ventral dentine, predentine, circumpulpal dentine, secondary dentine. The answer is option B, that is predentine. What is predentine? Predentine is the newly formed dentine before calcification and maturation. It is the innermost portion of the dentine and is located adjacent to the pulpal tissue. It is usually thick where active dentinogenesis occurs. Its presence is necessary for maintaining integrity of a dentine since its absence appears to leave the mineralized dentin vulnerable to resorption by odontoclasts. So this is all about today's videos, friends. If any correction or any queries or any feedback is there, you most welcome to mention that in the comment section. And please, once again, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and like the videos and share the videos as much as you can, and share the channel with your friends so that maximum people can take the benefit. So I shall be back soon with a new video. Till then, bye friend, keep studying, friends. Thank you.